Unocal's strategy was audacious, engaging Taliban leaders in a quest for credibility while navigating the treacherous waters of pipeline negotiations. But what drove such ambitious plans amid a landscape rife with uncertainty? To understand the motives behind these negotiations, one must delve into the intricate historical context. The U.S. support for the Mujahideen during the Soviet invasion laid the groundwork for a complex interplay between the Taliban and Western interests in the tumultuous 1990s. Consider the potential financial windfall. The pipeline construction promised an annual influx of $400 million to Afghanistan. Could this have been the lifeline necessary to revitalize an economy teetering on the brink of collapse? Yet, against this backdrop lay a dire power vacuum, a direct consequence of the Soviet withdrawal. The ensuing conflict among local warlords created an environment where unity and progress seemed like distant dreams. Adding to this complexity was Pakistan's involvement in Afghanistan. Their support for the Taliban dramatically reshaped the political landscape, complicating relationships not only within Afghanistan but with neighboring nations as well. What hidden agendas lingered in this intricate web of alliances? As the Taliban clawed their way to power, their ascent was marred by violence and oppression, painting a grim picture of governance in a nation already burdened by strife. What impact did their brutal actions against former leaders have on the fragile stability of the region? Caught in this turmoil, the Taliban's governance was hindered by a glaring lack of comprehension of international relations. This ignorance effectively stifled their potential to engage meaningfully with the global community, raising questions about their future. Simultaneously, America's interest in Afghanistan surged, particularly in light of the Unocal pipeline project. During the Clinton administration, this endeavor became pivotal to American business aspirations in the area. What unforeseen consequences would this newfound focus usher in? An unforgettable dinner with Taliban delegates emphasized the cultural chasm that lay between them and Western tradition. Their struggle to grasp even simple concepts, like Christmas celebrations, beckons us to ponder. How can two cultures so disparate find common ground? Yet, it was their astonishment at the complexity of offshore platforms that left a lasting impression. These massive structures starkly contrasted their experiences back in Afghanistan, revealing how vastly different their worlds were. In Omaha, a pivotal meeting unfolded, where the Taliban team interacted with U.S. experts regarding Afghanistan's petroleum resources. This exchange hinted at a tentative interest in potential cooperation for the country's development. But would this curiosity lead to fruitful outcomes? However, lurking beneath this desire for collaboration were the Taliban's deep-seated apprehensions. Their reluctance to sign any agreements without assurance from their leader mirrored the cautious political climate prevalent at the time. What factors contributed to this pervasive uncertainty? Then came a fateful day on August 7, 1998. The bombings in Nairobi and Tanzania marked a startling escalation in al-Qaeda's activities, resulting in tragic loss and injury. This gruesome event cemented al-Qaeda's notoriety, raising critical questions about security and global implications. Amidst this chaos, a young spy embarked on a perilous journey, uncovering vital insights into the Northern Alliance's steadfast resolve against both the Taliban and al-Qaeda. Their unyielding spirit highlighted a potential for resistance, yet they too sought Western support, hinting at deeper complexities. In contrast, the U.S. government's approach at this juncture was characterized by negotiation attempts aimed at influencing the Taliban's behavior. Their underestimation of the growing threat posed by bin Laden and the Taliban bore significant implications for national security. How would this oversight affect future actions? Initially, the U.S. believed that pressuring the Taliban through pipeline discussions would compel them to extradite bin Laden. Ironically, the Taliban adeptly wielded these negotiations as leverage, raising further complications for U.S. interests. Could this conflict of interest have been anticipated? Following the East Africa embassy bombings, the tension between the Taliban and al-Qaeda escalated, igniting fierce internal debates regarding bin Laden's presence in Afghanistan. The consequences of this division strained relations with the international community, leaving many nations questioning their alliances. When George W. Bush took office, the landscape shifted dramatically. Renewed U.S. interest in both pursuing bin Laden's extradition and rekindling pipeline construction plans came to the fore. The insidious influence of the oil industry played a pivotal role in redefining U.S. foreign policy. What shifts would this create in global geopolitics? Amid the rising stakes, a dramatic ultimatum from a U.S. representative illuminated the urgency of discussions with the Taliban. This moment underscored the precarious situation in Afghanistan, presenting a stark reminder of the challenges yet to unfold. With the eventual collapse of the Taliban regime, a new government emerged. However, the specter of unending conflict loomed large, as persistent insurgency continued to undermine efforts for peace and stability in Afghanistan. What hope remained for the war-torn nation? Despite Afghanistan's wealth of geological resources, persistent political instability stifled investment opportunities, resulting in a disheartening cycle of poverty and inadequate infrastructure. This cycle begs the question: when will Afghanistan harness its potential? In the shadows of oppression, the introduction of democracy and education for women under King Shah's reign played a transformative role. This shift led to a more inclusive workforce and opened doors to opportunities previously thought unattainable. Yet, even amidst the challenges posed by the Soviet invasion, tireless efforts to unearth Afghanistan's oil and gas resources pressed on, illuminating the country's potential for economic self-sufficiency. What might the future hold if these resources were fully realized? Recent revelations from previously hidden documents have painted a striking picture, exposing that Afghanistan's oil and gas resources were grossly underestimated. This newfound awareness points to untapped potential just waiting to be discovered. Will the international community take notice? For generations, Afghans have yearned for peace and improved living conditions, yet their nation's rich mineral wealth remains largely untapped due to the specter of violence. This enduring hope for a brighter future serves as a crucial element in their quest for stability. Initially, the U.S. overlooked Afghanistan's vast resources, only recently coming to appreciate their significance. Efforts to construct a peace pipeline continue, despite the complexities posed by Taliban resistance. What lie ahead in this turbulent journey? Ultimately, the integration of the Taliban into Afghanistan's societal fabric emerges as a critical step towards lasting peace. Engaging the moderate factions may pave the way for a more stable environment, but can such an intricate balance truly be achieved?